My brother called me a loser while squatting with his girlfriend in the house I bought for $600,000. So I changed the locks and threw their stuff out on the lawn. Well, who's the loser here? I smiled despite his threats. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I've noticed the channel is losing some traction and subscribing is the best way to support us. It's quick, free, and it truly helps grow this amazing community. Let's start the story. I'm 29F and I guess I finally snapped. I'd love to say I'm proud of what I did. But honestly, I'm still too furious to feel anything but relief. So here's the story of how I kicked my freeloading brother and his manipulative girlfriend out of the house I bought after he had the nerve to call me a loser. Let's back up a bit. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. My younger brother Kevin is 27 and has always been the golden child in my parents' eyes. He was the star athlete in high school, had a ton of friends, and for years my parents bent over backward to support every bad decision he made. Me. I was the quiet, nerdy one who preferred books and computers over parties. After college I landed a job in software development. It wasn't glamorous, but I worked my way up. I lived frugally, saved every penny, and 5 years ago I bought my first home, a modest but beautiful 3-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood. Then last year, thanks to a few big project bonuses and a smart investment in a tech startup, I upgraded to a stunning $600,000 home. I never flaunted my success. In fact, I offered to let Kevin crash at my place when he and his girlfriend Tasha said they were having a tough time. The idea was they'd stay for a couple of months, save up, and move out. That was 11 months ago. At first I tried to be understanding, but it quickly became clear they had no intention of leaving. Kevin lost his job 2 months after moving in and never tried to get another one. Tasha claimed she was working remotely, but all I ever saw her do was scroll Instagram and binge reality TV. They didn't help with groceries. They didn't pay rent. They didn't even clean up after themselves. And then the entitlement kicked in. Kevin started acting like the house was his. He'd invite his friends over without asking, host loud parties, and once even yelled at me for coming into my own kitchen when he had people over. Things hit a boiling point 2 weeks ago. I came home from work exhausted, only to find Kevin sitting on the couch, feet on the table, playing video games, surrounded by pizza boxes and empty beer cans. I asked him to clean up. He scoffed. He actually looked me in the eye and said, "You're such a loser, Emily. You're lucky we're even staying here. This place would be dead without you." I was stunned. A loser. From the guy who hasn't paid a dime and treats my home like a frat house. I didn't even argue. I just nodded, turned around, and went to my room. But inside something snapped. I wasn't just angry. I was done. I gave them one final week. I told them they had to be out by Friday. No drama, no fights, just gone. Kevin laughed in my face and said, "Good luck with that, sis. You can't evict family." Challenge accepted. I talked to a lawyer. Since there was no formal lease, no rent paid, and they were technically guests, I had every legal right to kick them out. So I did. Friday morning I packed their stuff carefully, I might add, and left it all in the garage. Then I changed the locks. Every single one. When Kevin and Tasha came back from their grocery run, they couldn't get in. Kevin banged on the door for a solid 10 minutes. I watched from the upstairs window, heart racing but calm. He finally screamed, "Open the damn door." I walked outside, phone recording, and said, "You called me a loser. Well, who's the loser here now?" And with that I pointed to their bags on the lawn. Tasha shrieked. Kevin lunged at me but stopped short when he noticed the camera. He tried to act cool, threatened to call the cops, said I was violating tenant rights, blah blah blah. But I had already spoken to the police. I knew the law. I had receipts. I was calm, collected, and absolutely done. They left. Not before Kevin spat on the sidewalk and muttered some threats. I won't lie, I was shaking. But I stood my ground. That night I finally slept peacefully. First time in almost a year. But here's the twist. This morning I got a voicemail from my mom. And then another from my dad. Apparently Kevin called them in tears, claiming I'd made him homeless out of spite. That I'd always been jealous of him and now I was abusing my success to destroy the family. My parents. They bought every word. Mom left a message that said, "I can't believe you'd do this to your brother. Blood is thicker than money, Emily." Dad texted, "Fix this before we cut ties. Family first." And here's the kicker. Neither of them offered me help with the mortgage, groceries, or bills all year. Not once. But the minute Kevin got tossed for freeloading, suddenly I'm the villain. I haven't responded yet. I want to, but I know whatever I say won't matter. To them, Kevin is still the precious son and I'm the mean older sister who dared to stand up for herself. I'm thinking of going no contact for a while. Maybe longer. But part of me wonders, will Kevin actually try something? The threats he made weren't idle. He said he'd make me regret it. That he had plans. I don't know what that means, but I'm not scared of him anymore. I took back my house. I took back my peace. But something tells me this isn't over just yet. The weekend after I kicked Kevin and Tasha out was quiet. Suspiciously quiet. I didn't hear from them again for 2 days, and for a moment I thought maybe they'd finally accepted defeat. Maybe they were too embarrassed to keep pushing after being thrown out so publicly. I should have known better. That Monday morning I woke up to a flurry of messages from old mutual friends. Screenshots. Posts. Rumors. Kevin and Tasha had gone on a social media smear campaign. They painted me as a cruel, greedy sister who evicted her struggling brother to flex her wealth. Kevin said I had always hated him and that I'd lured him into living with me just to humiliate him later. Tasha added that I was jealous of their love and that I was trying to destroy their relationship because no one wanted to be with a stuck-up tech robot like me. They tagged people from high school. From college. They even tagged some of my coworkers. I was shocked. But then I laughed. Because here's the thing. While Kevin and Tasha were too busy trying to destroy my image online, I had already been working on something behind the scenes. Remember that startup I invested in? The one that helped me upgrade to the $600,000 house? Well, I hadn't just invested in it. I had been working on a project for them as a freelance lead engineer. They had offered me a full-time executive-level position a few weeks ago. I had been mulling it over, especially since I was finally rid of my house pests. But when I saw the mess Kevin was stirring, I made one call. I accepted the offer. And then I made another decision. To clean house, not just literally but socially. I posted one clear, concise statement on my own account. To anyone confused about what happened, yes, I asked my brother and his girlfriend to move out after they lived in my home rent-free for nearly a year. They refused. So I exercised my legal right as the homeowner and changed the locks. They are now spreading lies. I will not entertain drama. I have receipts, legal backing, and peace of mind. That's all. I didn't need to go into detail. I didn't need to post screenshots. Just one calm post and I logged off. But I wasn't done. Remember the threats Kevin made? How he said I'd regret it. I didn't forget. So when my security camera app sent me a notification at 2:17 a.m. that night, I was already half awake. I checked the feed. 2 shadowy figures. One with a baseball cap. One with long blonde hair. Kevin and Tasha. They were trying to break in through the back gate. I didn't panic. I pressed the emergency button on the app. Within 5 minutes police arrived, and yes, I had already made sure my house had top-tier surveillance and monitoring. Kevin and Tasha were caught hiding in the bushes near the patio. Claimed they were just trying to get some of their stuff despite already having everything dumped on the lawn last week. Tasha started crying dramatically, but Kevin. He looked furious. And when they realized I was watching from the window upstairs, Kevin yelled, "You think this is over? You'll pay for this." Police told him to shut up. They were both cited for trespassing and warned not to come near the property again. The next morning I filed for a restraining order. The officer reviewing the footage asked if I wanted to press charges. I hesitated. Not because I was scared, but because part of me still clung to the idea that Kevin could come to his senses. But then I remembered how he looked me dead in the eye and called me a loser in my own home. So I said yes. The restraining order was approved the following week. Now Kevin can't come within 300 feet of me or my property. And just like that, the golden boy was officially banned from the house he once pretended to own. But it didn't stop there. A few days later I got a call from our parents. This time they were furious. "How could you get your brother arrested? You're tearing this family apart. He had nowhere else to go, Emily. You're heartless." I didn't respond emotionally. I calmly explained what happened, how Kevin had trespassed, tried to break in, how I had all of it on video. They didn't care. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about Kevin. It never was. My parents had always excused his behavior, protected him, coddled him. They had built him a padded world where he could do no wrong. And I had finally poked a hole in that illusion. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I told them I needed space, indefinite space. I blocked their numbers. I left the family group chat. I stopped replying to their endless voicemails. And for the first time in years I breathed. The house. Peaceful. My new job. Thriving. My weekends. Filled with walks, books, and friends, real ones. Kevin tried to email me once after that, begged me to take down the charges, said he was sorry that he needed help. But I saw through it. He wasn't sorry for what he did, only for the consequences. I didn't respond. Tasha. She's long gone from what I hear. Dumped him after realizing the free ride was over. And my parents? Still upset. But I've made peace with the fact that some people only love you when you're quiet and compliant. The minute you stand up for yourself, suddenly you're the villain. But I'm okay with being their villain. Because I'm no longer anyone's doormat. And if that makes me a loser, well, at least I'm a loser with my own house, my own peace, and a lock Kevin will never touch again.